Hello. All you're going to need today is a space for your yoga mat. And if you don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. You just need a space and a surface that you're not going to slip on or that you'll be comfortable kneeling on. Okay? So let's get started. We'll start in a comfortable seat. So if you're comfortable sitting, you can sit. You can prop yourself up on a pillow, or you can kneel, or you can put your legs out straight in front of you. We're just gonna bring those hands to the thighs or the knees. We're gonna go palms up. We're gonna sit up nice and tall, lifting like we had a string right up through the crown of the head. We're gonna close the eyes. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. As we exhale, we're letting the tension go. Feeling those shoulders release away from the ears, feeling the jaw and the face soften. Again, as we inhale, we're feeling that rib cage opening front to back, side to side, so it's opening up. As we exhale, let it all go. A few more nice deep breaths, just like that. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting the crown of the head on that inhale, exhale, letting that tension go. 2 more. Fluttering those eyes open, maybe gently rocking the head side to side or rolling it down. And then front and to the side, and then to the other side. Rolling those shoulders, just gently awakening the body. We're going to take that left hand down to the mat, reach that right arm over. Inhale, come back to center, and the right hand goes down. Inhale, reach over. Inhale, bringing it back up to center. We're going to roll ourselves over and onto all fours. So cushioning under the knees if you need to. Hands are under the shoulders. Knees are under the hips. Toes are pointed. Inhale, tailbone, lift belly, drop, gaze comes forward. Exhale, tailbone, tuck, back arches up, gaze comes inward. We're just warming that body up gently here. Inhale up. Exhale, tuck. Inhale. Exhale, tuck. One more of each. Good. Coming back to that neutral spine. Hitching the toes under the feet. We're going to lift those knees, send those hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. We're pressing through the, we're pressing through the heels, pressing them towards the ground. Walking the dog if you need to. Rolling those shoulders away from the ears. Putting the weight through the knuckles and the fingertips, not the heels of the hand. Again, walking the dog is bending one knee while the other leg lengthens, and then switching sides. Kind of rock it out here, hold it here, wiggle it. Make it feel fairly good, even though it may be challenging. We're going to bend the knees, lift between the hands, and we're either going to take little steps or big steps up to the front of the mat till our feet are almost together, but not quite. And then we're going to let that head release down to the mat. Nice deep breaths here as that tailbone lifts, the back arches, our knees have a pretty good bend in them. And then from here, bend the knees a bit more, roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Finish with those shoulders coming back and down, then the head lifting. At the top, inhale, bring it up, reach up nice and tall, open the heart to the sky, reach those hands up. Exhale, diving through, coming back into that forward bend. Again, letting the head release, maybe rolling those shoulders out, a little bit of a bend through the knees. And inhale, bringing those hands to the fronts of the thighs or the fronts of the shins, lift. So you have a nice flat back, you're long from the spine, right through the tailbone. And exhaling, bring it back down, take those hands back to the mat, and you're gonna step back into a plank position. From here, you can stay on the toes or you can lower to the knees. You keep the elbows nice and tight to the body as we exhale with control, coming to our tummy, Point those toes. Inhale, roll shoulders back and down, lift chest forward. So you may come into a baby cobra, or you may press yourself right up into a full cobra, pressing those hips forward. Exhale, releasing back down to the mat. Inhale, pressing back up onto those knees, hitching those toes under the feet, lifting those hips, pressing those heels, downward facing dog. We'll hold here for 2 breaths. And on your next inhale, you're gonna bend the knees, look between the hands, and you can hop, step, or walk, bringing those feet back together, front of the mat. Let that head release. And then inhale, sit your hips back. Lean your belly on your chest, and then reach those arms forward and lift the chest. Chair pose. Inhale, press through the heels, bring it up nice and tall. Exhale, bring it back down, mountain pose. Okay, so that is a sun salutation. We're gonna do it again. Inhale, come up nice and tall. Reach it up, heart to the sky. Exhale, diving forward. Forward bend, however it feels good for you. Then hands to thighs or shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, sink it back down. Hands are coming to the mat. You're gonna step or hop back into that plank position. Again, your choice here. You can come to the knees or stay on the toes with control. Elbows tight. Exhale, come down to the tummy. Point the toes. Inhale, roll shoulders back and down. Lift chest forward. Take a full breath here. And on that next exhale, you can either lower to your belly or you can hitch those toes under the feet and work your way right into downward facing dog. We'll all meet together in that downward facing dog. And on that next inhale, bending the knees, looking between the hands, hop, step, walk. Bring those feet to the front of the mat, forward bend, let that head release. Next inhale, sit those hips back, reach those arms forward, zip that belly button into the spine. And then inhale, press up nice and tall. Exhale, release. Repeating, inhale up, lift that heart. Exhale, diving forward, hinging at the hips, lifting the tailbone, let the head release. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, sinking down, hands to the mat, hop, step, or walk into that plank position. Again, use those knees if you wish. Exhale, come down to the belly, point the toes. Inhale, roll shoulders back, lifting chest forward. If you want to come into an upward facing dog here, you just press through the tops of the feet, lifting the thighs. Exhale, either coming back to the tummy or working your way into that downward facing dog, however you see fit and feels good for you. Bend the knees, look between the hands, hop, step, walk, bring those feet together. Inhale, hips back, arms forward, zip that belly button in. Inhale up, exhale, release. That body should be feeling nice and warm now. I'm gonna take the hands to the hips. We're gonna step the right foot back. We're gonna keep the hips and toes facing forward. We're gonna allow that back heel to stay off of the mat. We're gonna lower into a lunge position. Front leg knee directly above the ankle. We're gonna tuck those hips underneath, or tuck the tailbone under the hips. Bringing it in, so we're in a nice neutral spine. If you feel good here, you can reach those arms up towards the sky, keeping the ribs down. And then inhale, lengthen that front leg, press that back heel to the mat, bring those hands down to the hips, or interlace the fingers behind you, lift that chest forward. And then hinging at the hips, take that torso forward. Nice deep breath here. And as you exhale, bend through that front leg knee, bring the hands to the mat, walk that back foot back as far as you can. You're welcome to lower that back knee down if it feels good. Bring that right hand into the mat, lift that left arm up, or bring that left hand into the hip. Exhale, bring that left hand back down inside of the left foot. Lower that back knee, point the toes, sink those hips forward. Again, you can cushion the knee if you need to. Sinking those hips forward. This is lizard pose. If it feels good here, you can stay here, or you can come down to one or both of your forearms. You can also kind of let that left knee fall out to the side and come onto the outside of that foot. Work within your own boundaries here. Make it feel challenging, but good, never painful. Good, we're coming back up onto those hands. We're gonna bring that left hand back outside of that left foot. Hitch the toes under the back foot, lift the knee. Little steps or big steps, feet together, forward bend. Let that head release. You may wanna wiggle those hips, wag the tail. And then bend through those knees, roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Finishing with those shoulders coming back and down. Inhale, coming up nice and tall. Exhale, releasing back down to mountain. Hands to the hips, left foot's going back this time. Hips and toes are facing forward. And allowing that back heel to stay lifted, we're coming down into that lunge. Tucking that back hip, or tucking that tailbone under the hip, pressing that back hip kind of forward. And if you feel good here, lifting those arms up, keeping the rib cage down. Inhale, lengthening through that front leg, pressing that back heel to the mat, bringing those hands to the hips, or again, interlacing behind you. Once you've interlaced, just switch so that the weird finger, or the funny finger, is on top. And then press that chest out, or lift that chest out and take that torso forward, actively pressing back both legs as long as you can. And we'll bend through that front leg knee, bring that left hand down to the mat. Walk your back foot back as far as you can. Again, lower that knee if you'd like. Anchoring through that left hand, bring that right hand up, twisting towards that front knee, or again, hand can be on the hip. And exhale, bring that right hand back inside of the right foot. Lower the back knee, point those toes, sink those hips forward, lizard pose. So again, you can stay here, you can come out onto the outside of that right foot gently, or you can come down to one or both of your forearms. Nice deep breathing here, sink those hips forward, lizard. Inhale, coming back up onto the hands, right hand back outside of right foot. Hitch toes under the back foot, lift the knee, and little steps or big step, feet together, forward bend, let that head release. Next inhale, roll it up one vertebrae at a time, finish with those shoulders coming back and down. We're gonna go hands to the hips again, this time right foot back, turning the toes to face the long edge of the mat. So you're gonna line up this front leg heel with the back leg arch the heel. Hips are gonna open to the long edge of your mat, and you're gonna come into a warrior two lunge. This front leg knee needs to be above the ankle, and then you wanna make sure that it's not turning in. So you wanna check that you can see the big toe on the inside of that front knee. You're gonna pull that right hip back, so your back hip's coming back, and then you can go hands to hips, or hands to shoulder height. Gaze going down those left fingertips. And then we're going to take that left forearm to the left thigh, and if you can, right arm reaches up and over. Inhale, coming back to center, right hand either into the lower back or down the right leg. Left arm reaches up, reverse or humble warrior. Inhale, coming back to center, lengthening that front leg. Left fingertips go as far forward as you can, and then you take those left fingertips towards the inside of the left lower leg, and the right fingertips up to the sky. Trying to keep everything in line here. Your gaze can go down to your fingers, can go neutral, or up to the fingers, whatever works for you. And then inhale, work through those obliques in, bring it back up to center, hands to the hips, toes to the long edge of the mat. And then we're just gonna switch to the other side. So we're gonna turn those right toes to the short edge of the mat, or the back edge of your mat. Line up right heel with left arch to heel. Open those hips to the to the long side of the mat. And then come into that warrior two lunge. Again, check this knee is above the ankle, and that you can see the big toe on the inside of it. Pull that left hip back, bring those hands to hips, or bring them up to shoulder height. Gaze down the right fingertips. Warrior two lunge. And then right forearm to right thigh, and if you can, lift that left arm up and over. And inhale, coming back through center, left hand goes down left leg or into lower back, right arm reaches up. Inhale, coming back to center, lengthen that front leg. Right fingertips as far forward as you can. And then take those right fingertips down to the inside of the right leg. Keep the left hand reaching up, twisting that torso open from the hips. Again, your gaze can go neutral, down, or up and over that shoulder or those fingertips. Work through those left obliques. Inhale, bring it back up to center. Hands to the hips. Toes to the long edge of the mat. Soft bend in those knees. Stick that booty out. And take that torso forward. We're keeping it long through the spine, hinging at the hips. Our weights kind of press back in our heels. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale. Let it all go. You can sink it right down to the mat. You can let those arms dangle. If your elbows come to the mat, they can. You can bring the hands out to the ankles, or you can start to walk those hands behind you. Whatever feels good for you, you're just letting it all go. And then we're bending those knees, bringing those hands to the mat. We're gonna walk those feet back in towards each other. All the way in. Once those feet are together, we're gonna bend those knees, roll it up one vertebrae at a time. Finish with those shoulders coming back and down. Coming back to the front of your mat. Feet are together. Inhale, come up nice and tall, reach it up, lift that heart up. Exhale, dive it forward into that forward bend, and we'll just kind of hold here for a few breaths, letting the head release, having that softness through the face, through the knees. If you'd like to deepen, those arms can hug around the legs. You can pull that chest in closer to the legs. And we'll bend the knees a little more, bring those hands to the mat. We're gonna step it back into plank and then lift into downward facing dog. Press those heels to the mat, lifting those hips to the sky. Weights through the knuckles and the fingertips. Deep breathing. And as you exhale, release those knees down to the mat, point the toes. You can bring those big toes together. Your knees can also come together, or your knees can come wide. You're gonna sit those hips back towards those heels, letting that chest come forward, that belly come forward, and trying your best to reach those arms out in front of you. Now, if your shoulders do not like this at all, please just bring those arms into the side and then start to rest your chest down. You can even bring those arms down to the side if your shoulders don't like it. But ideally, we're going through a lat stretch, a back stretch, sinking those hips back, letting that chest melt towards the ground. Nice deep breathing. As we inhale, we'll just bring it up and onto all fours. And then swing your hips around, come back down onto your bum. And again, I just want you to find a comfortable seat. So if you're comfortable with your knees kind of bent to the side like this, if you're comfortable cross-legged, maybe you're comfortable with your legs out in front of you, whatever works for you is what you want to do. We're just going to close our practice today with a few more nice deep breaths, eyes closed. Sitting up nice and tall, lifting the crown of the head, inhale, palms flat. Expanding through that rib cage, exhale, letting those shoulders relax, letting the tension go from the face. And we'll just bring those hands into heart center, pressing the hands together, bringing the thumbs to the sternum or the chest. And then bowing our nose to our fingertips. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me.